How can I get people to like me? I think we've all felt that at some time in our lives. Why am I not hitting it off with this person? Why aren't more people attracted to me? Well, I want to share with you some easy tips to get people to like you. Let's get started. There's a great book that I want to share with you. It's by Dale Carnegie, and it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm really proud to have this 1936 version of it when it first came out. It's a wonderful book, and I was introduced to it when I was younger. I remember hearing the name Dale Carnegie, and I remember hearing the expression, how to win friends and influence people. It was something in the culture. But then one day I was talking to my uncle, who grew up in New York, and he told me about his experience. When he was a young man back in the 1950s, he started a new job as a salesman. And growing up, he felt that he was a bit shy around big groups of people. Sure, he was fine one-on-one, but around big groups of people, he felt a little bit nervous. And he wanted to know how he could improve as a salesman. At that time, they were offering Dale Carnegie classes, and they still do offer them. He went to the class, and he took 10 weeks of the class. Each week, they tried different chapters from the book, different exercises. And at the end of the 10 weeks, he said that he felt extremely confident. He felt he could talk to groups of people because he practiced it each week. He used the techniques that Dale Carnegie talked about in his book. And so I want to share with you some of those techniques here, how to get people to like you, which is just one of the chapters. The first thing he talks about is be genuinely interested in other people. That's key. How can you be genuinely interested in somebody else? It's by being curious. And I think that's why you're watching this video. You're curious. That's how we stay young at heart. We're curious. We want to find out more things. So find out about that certain person you're talking to. Ask them questions. By using your voice, you can ask them questions and you can have them feel engaged, and you can be genuinely and sincerely engaged in the conversation. The second thing he recommends is smile. Boy, it makes a big difference when we have no smile or we have a scowl on our face. We start to feel something from the other person. And if we're smiling, we start to give something to the other person. It's interesting. I live in Los Angeles, and driving around, there can be a lot of traffic. I love the city, and there can be a lot of traffic. It's interesting if you ever have somebody who cuts in front of you and then waves and smiles. The way that suddenly I feel when they do that, it changes. And then I kind of pass it on to the next person and so on. It's amazing what you can do with a smile. In voiceover, one of the things they often talk about is add a smile to that. Add a smile to your tone. By smiling, it changes your tone. Try it the next time you're on the phone. Take a big smile before you start to speak and notice the way it changes the timbre of your voice. So smile. Number 3, remember people's names. Dale Carnegie says, there's nothing sweeter than the sound of one's own name. Use it. Use their name. Speak their name. So talking to me, saying, Patrick, use that name. It makes me feel important. It makes me feel remembered. It makes me feel unique. Use someone's name. Speak it. And the tone with which you speak their name makes a big difference. I can try it a couple different ways. Patrick. That doesn't sound very engaged. Patrick. I think I'm in trouble. Or, Patrick, you're excited to see me. So really, your tone of voice has so much impact. Use people's names and try using their names with a voice that says, I like you. Number 4, be a good listener. In one of my podcasts, I talk about the communication equation. Part of that equation is listening. The other day I was talking to someone and I was relating a story, and about halfway through what I was trying to tell them, they interrupted me with their own personal anecdote. And I was glad to hear their story. I was actually genuinely interested in what they had to say. But I also felt like I didn't get to share my point, that they weren't really interested in what I had to say. And we moved on to other topics from that, so I felt a little bit left out. I would have felt a lot different if they had listened to what I had to say. And oftentimes I'll find myself wanting to interrupt somebody because I'm excited about what they're saying. And the difference between when I interrupt and when I just breathe and listen and watch for verbal cues and physical cues that show me that they've finished saying what they want to say, boy, that makes a big difference. It really gives them a chance to fully talk about what they're saying. And then I've been a good listener, and I can actually respond to them in a fuller, more genuine way with a voice that says, I've heard you, and I'm really responding to what I'm hearing. And the fifth point is talk about their interests. We love to talk about what we're interested in. And if you're curious, if you're a good listener, if you're really engaged in the conversation, make it about them sometimes. There'll be give and take. They'll want to ask you about yourself and talk about you. But take some time to talk about their interests. People are fascinating. There was a great play by A.R. Gurney where one of the characters says, everybody has a story. And you'll hear that a lot. Everybody has a story. If you just take the time to listen to somebody, you'll be amazed at what they have to tell you. Everybody's life is its own unique book or unique film. Listen to what they have to say and talk about their interests. Use your voice to reflect back what you've heard, maybe restating what they've said. Notice how it affects them. Notice how it keeps the conversation going, and notice how people start to react to you. I think what I would recommend for you is get a copy of this book. There are much more updated copies than from this version. You can buy it, the audio book, you can get it online. Get the book and listen to it, read it. It's a wonderful book. These are just 5 tips from many more that he gives and many different chapters that he talks about. Winning friends, making friends. It's a wonderful thing to feel in your life that you have a whole host of friends. And by using these simple techniques, you'll start to develop that. Using your voice to be present, to listen, to be a good communicator, to smile, to talk about somebody else's interests, you're going to find that having a ripple effect in all your relationships. Let me know how it goes for you. I'd love to hear your comments. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.